Okay, so I have now started the recording, and it says that I should give everyone a clear indication that they are being included in the recording. So if you don't want to be in the recording, you can either turn off your camera and microphone, or you are, of course, free to leave the meeting as well. With that said, hello and welcome to everyone here today. Today we are doing something that we haven't done before. We are combining the weekly demo with a delivery demo. And the topic is the digital symbol editor that we have developed, that is PCA has developed on behalf of Aker BP. And the focus of the demo will therefore be on the scope of that project that we've had with Aker BP. And to ensure a good flow during the demo, we would very much like to, of course, have a Q&A, but save it until the end. And if you do have any questions that you are really eager to ask, you're of course free to use the chat along the way. And today, Arna and Tore are the people presenting on behalf of the team. So with that said, take it away, Arna and Tore.
Thank you. So today, one of the leading factors for how this development was made was that the symbol library should be application agnostic. We should be able to use it in different applications. And to that end, we've been allowed to use an application made by WebStep, which is called the Asset Explorer, to do the demo. And in order to show that not only is the symbol library application agnostic, you can use it to support different processes and different kinds of assets. Tore and I, we are going to pretend that we are, like all good potential farmer sons from Hardanger. We've got a backup plan to go make cider. So I've been told by people who know this, know how this goes, that when you want to make cider for people and you want to sell it, Mattilsynet, they want to know that you are doing this in a safe and responsible manner, and they want the documentation just like everybody else. So, being a computer guy, I've seriously over-engineered this solution. I've made myself a mini PNID for how does my bottling line look. Now let's have a look at it. The facility Måge Cider with the statement Cider til folket. So I've got a dedicated symbol for my fermentation vat. It correctly shows a cone bottom, dome top for sediment layering and everything. I've got a correct symbol for a filter pump because I'm actively pushing the cider through the membrane filter. And I've got my one-of-a-kind symbol for my bottling unit. But I'm missing a symbol for my membrane filter. The membrane filter is a small but integral part of my pipeline, and it should be easily recognizable for somebody who looks at the diagram without having to dig into it to see that, yeah, it's the right kind of a thing. I thought I had done this, so I'm going to check my cider process ontology, which is an extension of the digital engineering symbol ontology. And I can immediately see that I have forgotten to add my filtering symbol, which then leads me to Tore. You did all of the other drawings. It seems that I forgot to order this last one from you. Could you make this one for me as well?
No problem. To make this drawing and make it available for Anna, I could break it down into two separate workflows. The first workflow being creating the actual drawing and exporting the drawing into an SVG file. And the second workflow would be to upload the SVG file to the PCA library and add properties to it so that it can be used in Arne's technical diagram. So let's get into it. Let's start making, go through the first workflow, which is making the drawing. Let me share my screen. Can everybody see my screen now?
Yes.
Yep.
Our weapon of choice for making a symbol or drawing a symbol and exporting it is Figma. There's a lot of reasons why we ended up choosing Figma. One of them is that it gives us a possibility to export the SVG file as we would want the SVG file. We tried very many different applications a couple of years ago when we did this project first, and we found that Figma was the one that was the closest, and since that we were able to create our own plugins in Figma, we could actually make the SVG files in the manner that we need them for the PCA library. So, and the other thing that's good with Figma, it's that it's available in your browser. There's nothing that you have to download. All you have to do is create an account and you can use it for free. So I'm now logged into Figma. I'll open up the file where I have my symbols. And here we can see some symbols. We see the symbols that I've created for Arne previously, and now Arne has asked for a membrane filter. I've cheated a little bit. So I've already created a frame and drawn up the symbol so that you guys don't have to watch me do this. But I'll try and explain a little bit what it is that I've done. I made a frame, which I'll call membrane filter, like so.
Remember the F as well. No, it's ilter.
Oh, there we go. Filter, like so. And if I expand that, we see basically all the elements that make up this symbol. So initially, most people would just export this SVG as it is now. And in most applications for SVG files, this would work perfectly fine. But not in the case of PCA. We need the SVG file to be in a specific format. So then I can select this filter and I can run the plugin that we have created for creating symbols. And I can go to the main menu in Figma, down to plugins and manage plugins. If I then search for PCA, the plugin called PCA Engineering Symbols Tool appear. And this is the plugin that people drawing symbols should run on their drawing so that they make sure that the SVG they export is compatible with PCA. I can also click here to view details about the symbol and what it, or the plugin and what it does, or I can just click it here and that will run the plugin. There's no need for installation or anything. Everything is run in the browser. When I start the plugin, I've selected my main layer. I see that there's a message here saying invalid selection. Select a single frame, which I've done, that contains a group named design. All my elements are in the root of my frame. So I need to select these elements, right click and say group selection. I get a new group and I call that design. I go back and I select my frame. Now I see that I'm able to create an export layer. Now what this actually does is it takes everything that is in the design group and merges them together so that I get a new layer with all these elements merged into one flat file. And then it hides the design folder. What's good about that is that I can come back later, delete this, make changes to my symbol, and then run the plugin again, and I have a new updated symbol. So I was able to make the symbol a layer, but I still have a message here saying that the export layer fill rule, or something about the export layer fill rule. The symbol export layer contains even odd regions, but only non-zero is accepted. Use the fill rule editor to set all regions to non-zero. If you want to learn more about this, you can click on the help here to read more about this. Or if you're more like me, a designer, you just follow the instructions. So I click on the fill rule editor and I read the message there. Click the odd even paths marked in red to convert them to non-zero. So I click the red areas and voila, now they're all green. It's also good to mention, or can be good to mention, that if you look at this symbol, it has some darker lines with arrows. If you click these arrows, you can actually close off or fill some of the areas in here. That is good in cases. That is good in cases where, for instance, have a valve and you want to make one version that is open and one version that is closed. You don't necessarily have to draw two symbols to do that. You can just do the export twice. But I have my symbol here now. I go back to export. My symbol looks the way that I want it to look. So I click export SVG. I'll save this on my desktop. I'll overwrite my old one. Replace. So that is basically the first step in making a new symbol available for Arna. The next step is taking this symbol and uploading it to the PCA symbol library. So then we move over to our PCA library and we make sure that we're logged in. We get this extend library button, we hover over it, and we find symbol editor. If I click this, I am now in PCA's symbol editor. And by PCA symbol editor has nothing to do with the changing the visual or editing the visuals of the symbol. It has everything to do with adding or editing properties that we apply to the symbol so that this symbol can be used in, for instance, technical diagrams like Arne wants. So to my left here, I have a symbol navigation where I see all the symbols that are in the library. I can search for them by writing, and I can filter by their status. But in this case, I'm going to create the new symbol. So I click this, I go to my membrane filter, and oh, you guys are in the way. Open like so. So now I've uploaded the symbol or the SVG file that contains the symbol to the symbol editor. I can see the symbol here in the editor, and I need to give it or fill in the metadata or properties about the symbol. So I give the symbol a name. I have information here, like so. I'm going to call this membrane filter, and the description, and then I'm going to give it a package name. The reason why I would give it a package name is basically so that everything that I upload is put into the same group, so that when someone is doing a review of these, my symbols are grouped together so that it is easier to follow the workflow or the status of these symbols. So I'll give it a name. I'll call it CDAF. I'll see that. I'll assign it to an ontology, which is the CPO, cider process ontology. I'll give it the name demo or justification. The justification is just information to the person who is doing the review of why I am posting this new symbol, why I need this new symbol. That is the main data that I have to fill out. And to add more properties, there are two things more that I can add. It's the center rotation, which is required, and there's connection points that are optional. So if I hit save now, it would fail because I have to have the central rotation. What this does is that where I put this point, that's the point where the symbol will rotate around itself. So if I rotate this symbol, this area would stay still. If I put this out to the left, the symbol would rotate around this point. But in this case, I'm going to put it into the middle, approximately like so. Now I will be able to save the symbols. It's not required to have connection points, but I know that in Arne's case, he needs 2 connection points. He needs 1 connection point on the left side here, which I will angle like so. The arrow here has nothing to do with the directional flow or signal. It's just a line indicating that a line coming into the symbol will come in via this direction. And I'll add another one, and I'll drag that over here. And I'll say that that's 90 degrees. No, that was 270, and this one is 90 degrees, like so. So now I have my symbol. I'm able to click save. And if everything works now, it's added, and I can click here and I can see that the symbol is now available in the library with the status submitted. So then it's time for me to pick up the phone and give Arne a call and say that your symbol is now ready, Arne.
Thank you, Tore. And then, let's see, I'm going to grab the screen sharing again. And then, let's see, find Teams again. So, Tore has told me that he's made a new addition to the CIDR process ontology. I'm going to check. Can find the membrane filter. It looks like I want it. And I can see that, this is the share key that we agreed upon ahead of time. The connection points, though, they are new additions. So these keys, we were unable to share ahead of time. But let's see how it looks. There we go. There's our filter. Unlike the filter pump or the fermentation vat or the bottling equipment, which are correctly using the connection points because we knew about them ahead of time, you see that the membrane filter, even though it has its connection points, we're just connecting to the edge of the symbol. And that's basically the process end to end for making a data set, representing it with symbols, figuring out that we are missing some, and adding it or fixing it in both the data and having it publicly available immediately. Because what we can do now is almost wrong. When I log in, I can now review Tore's work. I can have a look at the CIDR. I can look at the membrane filter from here. I can even approve or reject it, depending on how I like his work. Yeah, that's it for today. Thank you for your attention. Questions, comments?
It looks like we're getting a standing ovation.
Do you have a question, Steinar?
No, it was wrong. It was the wrong button, of course. So
Yeah.
not a question.
I don't find the buttons in Teams intuitive either. So I do the exact same thing.
It looks good. Yeah, I have a comment because I think Tore, you mentioned the arrows in the designer. There's no point, or there's no need in actually showing them as arrows. They could just be lines.
I agree.
I guess it would be less confusing.
I agree, and we have decided to make changes to it, but we haven't gotten around to it yet. But we do want to make them as in the future, they should be arrows, because I would imagine that it could be smart to add the flow or direction flow on the symbol. But
So
we don't have that yet.
It could either be direction or non-direction, right?
Yes,
or
bi-direction.
Yeah, yeah.
So, the reason we have arrows on them right now is it's easiest to see if you follow this line, if you can see my mouse cursor, if somebody could, So this line, it has either, if we go to the fermentation vat, we can see that it has an arrow that points to the right. And that's because of in the PNID standards, there is a requirement that says that there is a shortest allowable path that a line should travel from its origin before you're allowed to give it a new angle. And these arrows are there to indicate or give hints for how must that graphical layout work in order to be compliant and not to do the flows. The problem is that they look very similar from the outside, and it's not super well documented that it's actually two different things. You can see it if I grab the filter pump and then I move it further to the left. This is the minimal distance in our configuration that the lines will travel. This varies based on width. If you're aiming for print, you're going to have to adjust this to what size are you printing to and so on. But it's I understand that it might seem confusing, but it's there for a reason, I promise.
Yeah, no, I understand. But just in the design, you could in the future have an option of directional or non-directional, right? So it's just a line and not an arrow.
Yes. So for our filter pump, this would ideally be something that we inherit from the type, because these pumps, like a piston pumps, they have a definitive direction of flow. It's very, very important that you hook the right hose up to the right connection. Unlike the membrane filter, which is just a passive thing. And that causes these things to be dependent on the type definitions of the equipment that we are referring to. And this is a bit of an organizational coordination effort. And I saw we had Tonia in here earlier, and I'm expecting that this is going to be something that has to be fixed in coordination with, for example, Dexby. Fredrik?
I just wanted to mention quickly, if we didn't do it at the beginning of the demo, that there is also documentation regarding the symbol editor and also the Figma plugin on our homepage. So yeah, like you're showing here. So if anyone is interested and need that, that's available openly there.
Since you mentioned Dexby, I can inform you that the Aker Group has just filed an application request to become members of Dexby. That includes Aker BP, Aker Solutions, and Cognite at least.
Great. It's definitely the forum where the right people all attend to get this actually solved.
Yes.
It's a very good place to be. Yeah.
Good news.
If nobody else has any comments, I think we're going to let everybody off 3 minutes early. Thank you for your time and your attention and your feedback.
This recording is available if you're in PCA.
Yes, but I'm guessing we'll publish it on YouTube too, right, Lars?
Yes. Okay. Yep.
Yeah. And Per Olav, you know us. You just give us a call. We'll give you a walkthrough.
I just was inhibited from attending from the start. So
I got a sneaking suspicion you got more detailed questions than possibly the rest of us. So yeah, looking forward to it.
Yeah, I think you should keep it in PCA so that Cognite has to become a member, right?
It's a very good point.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think so. Look forward to your application, Per Olav.
Yeah, completely agree. Okay.
Bye.
Have a good weekend, everybody. Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.